Hi there, I'm Caden Rains and welcome to my basement. Today, as part of Spooky Month, we're taking a look at the Stranger Things house based on the first season of the show. It's what I like to describe as a display piece. It's not really designed to fit into a town or city, and we'll see why as we go through it. But I mean, you can probably already tell. It's designed so that you've got, if you know the show, the real world and the upside down. And it's sort of the play feature. I wouldn't call it a play feature necessarily, but that's the give-all term for things that don't fit into my cities generally, so it's what I'm going with. But let's look at the minifigs first, and then we'll do a turnaround of the house, just because that's going to be a little more clunky than normal, because as you can see, I can't put it on the Whirly-McGig. So let's just knock those out. On the top here, we've got the mom from the series, whose name is Joyce Byers, one of the kids' moms. She was kind of the driving force behind the adult side of things on the first season. We've also got Chief Hopper, Jim Hopper, up there. And they're both a fair likeness of their characters from the show, so good. Underneath, you've got Will, who was, the driving force behind both main plot lines in season 1, or multiple plot lines, however you want to think about it, as well as the Demogorgon. I like the way they did the Demogorgon because the headpiece, which is unique, is the open mouth, but if you take it off, it's the closed mouth design. So that's a good use of that. He's also got I think of them as satyr legs, because that was one of the first minifigs I got that had them, but they're the bent reverse legs. So cool. So, and they live on the upside down part, but there's that. The other 4 figs we get their own little minifig stand, and those are the 4 kids who weren't trapped in the upside down for most of the season. So from left to right, we've got Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and 11. And 11 comes with the wig they gave her, as well as the waffles. But I mean, it is just a Lego piece, so if you want her to be bald 11, you can do that too. So, there's that. I don't know if the stand was really necessary, but it's not like it took a ton of pieces to make. So I'm not too upset by it, I guess. But, it's just there. It's one of those things that, yeah, if you were going to display this, if I was going to have it on the shelf like this, which I won't, you know me, but if I was going to have it like this, then sure, I guess that's fine. If you didn't want to just stick the kids up here somewhere, then you've got a stand for what are ostensibly the main characters, more or less, at least in the first season. They kind of share that with the adults in the first season, and while a lot of those adults never completely go away, I know that they get less screen time, at least in the second and start of third season. I'm going to try and finish the third and fourth coming up, but life is tough. Anyway, so those are the minifigs. They all look pretty good. This is one of those few times where I'm not going to complain about leg printing too much. The Demogorgon has it, but nobody else does. But most of them have mid legs, and I know they don't print on mid legs that much, so I'm not going to complain too much. You could have given the mom and the cop printed legs, but it is what it is at this point. I'm trying not to repeat the same talking points every time I go through one of these. Unless you want me to. Comment down below if you want me to complain about leg printing every single time, even when we're not talking about Lego. Like and subscribe for more random voices. Anyway, there's also this car build. It's one of those things, it looks fine. Is it necessary to the build? No, not by my standards. I know, oop, well, there goes that. I know the cop, Jim, was important, and he never, like I said, he never really goes away. There it goes. But I don't know. I don't remember this vehicle. I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember it being important to the plot. You could have replaced it with just about any vehicle or just not had it here. And I don't think most people would complain. In fact, that would give more space for the minifigs to be doing their thing. The characters. I don't know. I'm more of a character guy. I want a good looking set, but I'd rather have minifigs than vehicles. And this is someone who owns a lot of vehicle sets. I mean, so I try to... I just want them to be 8 wide, honestly. You can't put anybody but Jim in here. I guess if you got rid of that pumpkin, which I'm sure that was a plot point at one point in season 1. I don't remember it. But you can only have 1 minifig, maybe 2 in here. So that's my main complaint with most Lego vehicles that aren't Speed Champions. So anyway, now that we've done that, let's take just an overall look at the set. So this is the default display. You've got the regular world and then the upside down. And if you look at these trees on each side and then down below, they're mirrored except for their color. And the reason for that is so that they'll be smooth on the top. They use regular tiles on the top. And then on the bottom, they have reverse pieces for their quote-unquote top. So you can just flip it like that. And now you've got the upside down is the right side up. So you can have Will running away Scooby-Doo style from the Demogorgon. And make that the front-facing part. The major difference between the two sides is color. The builds are almost identical outside of, if you look, so on the upside down to show wear, they've got studded pieces, so plates interspersed with the tiles, whereas on the front, on the right side up, for the most part, it's all tiles. So that's a clever way of showing change. There's also obviously overgrowth just about everywhere. Vines and stuff. They use these whips to go around some of the poles to show growth, as well as these clear pieces, which I think are supposed to be a different type of growth. I don't think that's as good, but it's, I get what they were going for. I probably would have colored them. Used the colored version, not the clear. I'm sure there's something that they pointed to in the first scene. It was like, yeah, a clear piece, this clear rod piece, that will look perfect there. And it's like, I don't see it. So otherwise, they're near identical. They even use near identical stickers, except that the ones in the upside down are grayscale. That goes for the prints too. However, I didn't put most of the grayscale ones on because of the edit I plan to eventually do with this set. But we'll see. Here's the gray ones. And we're going to see the colored versions of these as we go through the inside, which just means I'm going to turn it around. But just as a preview, so there's a Jaws parody, which probably was Jaws in the show, but they might not have had the Jaws license at this point. Xmas boxes because the mom grabbed the Christmas lights. D&D rules, although they just say rules. The missing poster for Will. Missing poster for Barbara, which is the only sticker I didn't put up because it goes on the side, and the side's the main part I'm going to mess up, or mess with. So until I've got that settled, I'm not going to put that out. Then these two are for hallway decoration, and this is for the upside down version of where the mom was trying to contact Will, and it did work out. So I guess not try. There's no try. There's only do. So as we look at these, the only difference besides some of those visual ones I just talked about are mainly that they've got the growths, and that everything's mirrored. So as you can get rid of the truck so we can see this. So like if they were just, if they weren't mirrored, then when this was flipped, when one of these was flipped, the swinging chair would not be one for like on top of each other. So mirroring it means it's not actually the exact same build twice. Now the trees are. In fact, they do the thing that I hate where they just give you one set of instructions to build one and then put ×2. Now they did it at the beginning, so I knew to do it as I went, but that was the only part that felt really repetitive was the trees, because the rest was mirrored and you didn't do it at the same time. Now, I guess technically I didn't have to do both trees at the same time, but that saves time, and that's how I do. So anyway, we're going to flip this back up so we have a better look at the colored version, because that's the one that's got the stickers, and then we're going to turn them around and take a look inside. So, like I said, these are mirrored, so they're very similar from one side to from top to bottom as it currently is. So, this is Will's room. It's, again, basically the same on both. There's the colored version of the Jaws poster, boombox, his desk, his bed, and then there's the colored version of those decorations he'd drawn. I do like that they usually do this, so this isn't like brand new, but they made everything Lego-fied. So if there were drawings of dragons in his room in the show, they used the existing cartoony versions of dragon pieces in Lego to represent that. And, good for that. Here is the main room. So it's got that hallway design. This is the good shot of my hand there. The missing poster, and then the Christmas lights. Well, they've got them across, but then the sticker for when how they ended up talking together. There's also not a sticker, but there's a light brick here. And what it's supposed to do is that there's a piece in front of it that's got printing to disperse the light. I got unlucky and got a one that's blown out or whatever, and I don't know if you can replace the batteries in these things. I've never tried. I'm going to look into it, but when I remake this house, which mostly means plopping two sides together, but we'll get to that. When I remake this house, the light brick will probably not be included. I've got the camera that the mom set up, and then just as a little Easter egg, there's Will's hat, and I can't really get to it right now because of the way the ceiling is connected, and this isn't one of the things that's also on the other sticker sheet. There is a reference to the second season monster. Well, it went further in. So there's just a drawing Will did at like the last episode that showed the monster that was going to be the season 2 villain. So it is still technically a season 1 reference, but if you'd only seen season 1, or the majority of it, I guess, you might not remember what that creature was. So, sorry, I can't get to it. There's also this little, I guess, sitting area, and that's where the D&D rules are. Each chair build is, kind of cool. There's also the Xmas boxes behind. So, it's there. And then the axe the mom was hoisting around at one point or another. And then, like I said, flipping it over. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, there we go. What else, Phil? There we go. Here's that print. So, cool. It's not even a print, it's a sticker, but whatever. So, there's that. But, as I said, other than growths, like the plants, there's not much different other than everything being black, blue, and gray. But even the bed cover is just a mirrored version of the other side. I do kind of like this couch being in black. And this is where the grayscale version of the Christmas light sticker is supposed to go. But that's, again, I'm going to edit this house a bit. And so I don't really feel a reason to keep it there. Well, to even put it on. So, there it goes. And then the alternate version of the chair. It's the same chair, it's just blue. So, I do like this. As far as display pieces go, I think it's a good set overall. It's you know, again, I'm not much of a display guy. I guess you could say I am if you count my city, but technically you could play in my city. I just wouldn't let you. So, you know, take that as you will. But yeah. So when I say display, I mean something that from the get-go is not meant to really be played with, is not meant to be touched by children too much. And considering the age demographic, I know they've kind of made Stranger Things, they've tried to popularize it with a younger crowd, and they've succeeded to a degree. But you know, the group of kids has grown up. They're not kids anymore. So I think a lot of the younger quote unquote people who like it are just kids who found it when they were a similar age to the kids in the show. Sort of like how a lot of kids were with Harry Potter, or are with Harry Potter, I suppose. But anyway, so as far as sitting this into the city, I'm gonna put it in the neighborhood. I'm just gonna leave it there for now, and we'll look at that in a second. But just to express kind of what the plan will be once I crunch some metaphorical numbers, is that the house itself is 32 studs wide, which is the size of a base plate. So basically, what this is going to come down to is I'm going to remove the trees, and there's, on each side, there's a couple of these 2x8 or 2x10 pieces, along with some stuff built up around it. And I basically plan to remove one of those to scooch the base from roughly where my fingers are in to the same dimensions of the house. That's probably going to mean lifting both houses off a bit more than I really want to, but alas, I'll have to play with the Legos the way they were intended. But, so I'm going to do that to both sides, and then more or less slam them back to back together. Now I will edit it a little bit, like I'll get rid of the light brick, and I will most likely somewhere on the roof make that quote unquote modular, where I put some tiles, not, you know, non-studs, enough to keep it in place, but enough that I can also take it off easily, and do that on both sides. Basically mirror it the same way it's already been mirrored. Yeah, I'm just not going to bother with that right now. And that way I can put the two back to back, get rid of these pieces that hold the, so if, I didn't actually say this, what keeps them together are these ball and joint pieces, which is pretty clever, honestly. But get rid of those, just put some tiles, maybe like some of the base bricks, like there's just a 1 by 1 with stud on side, get a 2 by 1 with the studs on side there, and then use that to bridge the pieces. Do that in a couple spots, just enough to, so they won't easily fall apart, and then put them on the base plate. So that's about 12 studs. Each house is about 12 studs deep. So that's 24. That leaves 8 studs. Do between 4 and 6 on the front, 2 and 4 on the back. And there you go. Got a house. I'm going to try and include the trees in that, but they'd be, the top ones, the brown ones, would be on the front. And those are the ones that are more, I guess, traditionally built, because the whole tree build is based around a Technic brick. So the kind that's, it's a really long 1 by 10 piece, with the kind with holes in the side for Technic pins, and that runs throughout the whole tree. So this side is still studs on top, while the upside down version is studs on bottom, which is why they've got an alternate tile piece there. So I know I can make this tree work without too much trouble just sitting on something, because right now you take off There's supposed to be 4 pieces, but I only put 3 of them on. You take off these pieces, there we go. And this just, I think physics is playing a joke on me. Physics and I don't get along. I curse it a lot. All right, well, this just slides in and out. Something I'm doing is wrong, but yeah, this isn't otherwise really, oh, no. I don't know. I don't remember what I did, but basically this just slides in, and once I go back to the instructions and double check it, it'll come out somewhat simply. There's probably an extra connection I'm forgetting about that I added after you slide it in. Oh, that's right. It's connected with the ball joints. So that might actually be take a minute to get out just without completely trashing everything. But so the way I'll do is I'll take the front and back ones off, and that should loosen it enough to get the side ones off. But again, that's not going to be for a while. I need to plan how I'm going to edit the inside, which will mostly mean on the upside down section, like I'll get rid of the sitting area, or I'll put a TV or something there. And each side has like a subroof, I guess you could call it. I don't know. Like you can see there's the tilted part and then there's the flat part. I'll likely get rid of at least some of the flat part so that when I modify the roof to be removable, if I remove it, I can see inside. Because right now, as it is, even if I remove this roof, you looking in, if this was enclosed, you'd only be able to see the center section. So that's something I'm gonna have to play with for a while. But it probably won't be a whole big thing. It's just gonna take some canoodling. But yeah, so like I said, I do think this is a good set for as far as display sets go. I don't have many. I have a couple that eventually we'll get to, but most of them are buildings that I buy. I don't see the point in a lot of display sets. Like there's a new fish tank coming out, and it's like, if I wanted fish, I could probably spend, I mean, yes, fish can be expensive to get set up, but at least then you've got fish. If I want to spend like, what was it? It's like $500 or something on that new big fish tank, but it's the same forever. Yeah, I guess you could move some of the stuff in there, but most of it's like underwater plant builds. I don't know. That's my thing with display sets. I'd rather be able to have something that you can move around even if I don't play with them. So anyway, let's go put this in the neighborhood, and then we'll sign off for today. So here's where it's going to sit for now. It's not perfect because it can't fit on a base plate for the moment, but it is going to go next to the Sanderson house once I get it to fit on a base plate. So mostly because they're both rundown houses, even before considering the upside down variant, which is going to be the back side of the house, it was always kind of implied that their family wasn't the best off, but it's going to leave this strip of land behind the neighborhood, and the idea I have is to set up a little graveyard there. So both the Sanderson sisters' house and the Stranger Things house will kind of serve as a break between that and the rest of the neighborhood. Maybe if I get it, the Nightmare Before Christmas set can go there. But I have moved the rest of the town, or the neighborhood, around a little bit since last time. I've got my Flintstones house here next to the Sandersons, and that was mostly so that you could still see the Sandersons house, because there's not going to be much in the middle. There's going to be a tree house, but if I had this over there, then you wouldn't be able to see the Sanderson house. So I'm trying to make it visually appealing. And I might even switch the Sanderson house and the Stranger Things house eventually. But I got to get them working first. So, because I still have to edit the Sanderson's house as well to make it. I'm going to leave it dollhouse style, but I'm going to modify the back here so that while it still swings open, it'll only be this like down to here that actually swings. The ground, I guess, will not. So that's not going to take too much work, but it will be an edit I got to do. Then some other houses will go here. And then I'm going to have the Asian, like, Ninjago and Monkey Kid sets over here in this corner. It's going to be like a mini city all on its own over there. And then once I've kind of got that going, we'll see what this blank space that doesn't have plates is going to look like. So that's the update on the city for now, or especially the neighborhood section of it. Do you have the Stranger Things house? And if you do you like it? If you don't, do you wish you'd gotten it? And how do you feel about the way my little neighborhood's going? And my city as a whole? I'd love to hear from you, but either way, I hope you had a good time in my basement today, and I'll see you in the next one.